It's time for the Rip City Wrap-Up. The Rip City Wrap-Up is brought to you by Dick Hanna Subaru, Believe in Nice, and Jack in the Box. Now here are your hosts, Joe Simons and Danny Marang.
Deni Avdija goes for 31, 19, 10. But it wasn't enough as the Thunder hit big shots down the stretch and showed why they are the defending NBA champions. Hello, welcome in to the Rip City Wrap-Up. That's Danny.
Oh, hi.
I'm Joe. We appreciate you joining us on KUNP, YouTube, and K2.
Hey.
They let us to the big channel, Danny.
Every now and then.
Every now and then. Let us know what you think. Use the hashtag RC Wrap-Up. Join in the conversation. Are you disappointed? How do you feel about your Blazers at the quarter mark? We're 20 games into the season. We're going to hear from Deni Avdija, Toumani Camara throughout the show, Danny.
Yeah, no, it's, we kind of joked about when they played the first 10 games, like, hey, it's 10% of the season down. We're already going, and we kind of laughed about it, how kind of slow things were, or how quickly things were going. Now it's like, yeah, no, you're at a quarter way through, and I get technically not a quarter. I get it. There's 82 games.
When we get to halftime of the next game, Danny,
yeah,
then we're actually a quarter of the way through the season.
So, but yeah, I think that this is when, unfortunately, you start drawing some conclusions. And
unfortunately,
well, yes, because the Blazers have so many injuries, and the conclusion right now is, boy, do they need special performances from Deni Avdija to be in games, and they need Jeremy Grant to continue to do what he's been doing. They needed somebody else in Toumani Camara to do what he can do, have a massive bounce-back game, not only defensively in what he limited Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to, but offensively knocking down threes. But they're still missing one more guy, and they did it tonight without Donovan Clingan, who's another guy that forced them to basically to play small the entire game. They obviously threw Robert Williams III out there.
Yeah, but the starting lineup, City, Chris, Deni, to Jeremy.
Now, they're not small by any means. The smallest guy out there, so to speak, is City.
Non-traditional centers.
Yes, but, City's still 6'7", 245. He's still a big boy.
Deni's 6'9".
Yeah, Deni's 6'9", 250. Jeremy's 6'9", 230. Two's 6'8". You just kind of go down the list. Chris Murray's 6'8". Like they're still a very big, very switchable team and very athletic, but they weren't able to impose their will and convert their offensive rebounds, their putbacks, and they still were okay there. But it's a game against OKC where without Hartenstein, Portland should have been able to beat them up on the glass if Donovan's healthy, but that's not the case. And so they had to find other ways, and they forced a lot of turnovers in live action. Unfortunately, because the shooting woes were pretty marked early on, they weren't able to convert those, but they were disrupting Oklahoma City. They were getting after them. They were bothering them. SGA was not as impactful as he could be in the first half, and you kind of looked around. You got a little bit of shooting luck. Isaiah Joe, there was more than probably 4 or 5 times that I looked down. I'm like, don't lose him. That's the guy you don't want to lose with that team. And Joe missed a couple of threes where you're just like, okay, you're still in this. And Deni finishes with an absolutely bonkers stat line in a way that superstars finish. When you're not getting shots, when you don't have spacing, for Deni to get to the free throw line 23 times is just, it's diabolical.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we have some folks out there that haven't watched a lot of Blazers basketball yet. They're watching it because it's on K2, end of Thanksgiving weekend. They see the Blazers are playing the best team in the NBA. Let's check them out. This is pretty representative of the Blazers right now. This is not what the team looked like when the season started, but this is what the team is now. You need this sort of performance from Deni, from Jeremy, from two. I'll throw Chris in there. That has to be the minimum that you get to be competitive. And I do think that if you're playing a lesser team, you probably get over the top doing what Deni did, doing what Chris did, doing what two did. But you're playing the literal best team in the NBA that has one loss. This is that one loss was to the Blazers, folks. It's the only team they've lost to so far. But this is the team, the Blazers. They have the second hardest schedule of anybody going into tonight's game, and now you're playing the hardest team in the NBA. So you probably have the literal hardest first 20 games of anybody in the NBA. So I understand disappointment, and it's unfortunate because now we'll talk about the road trip coming up. Usually like, oh, they're going to the East Coast. This is great.
You stack some wins. Like, no, you're
not so fast, my friends.
The literal top of the East, and it's like
it's going to be challenging.
Yikes! But yeah, I think you're right. There's a lot that came out of this. First 20 games. They end up 8-12 through their first 20. They could have very easily been 12-8. And how differently do we look at this team if they're healthy? Are they 13-7? Or like
they could be 6-14 to be fair.
For sure.
It works both ways.
There's been some volatility.
Because the wins they have, they stacked up wins against quality opponents.
Yes. And they had every opportunity to win this game tonight. It was another clutch opportunity. It was within 5 with 5 minutes to go. They had another opportunity to get there. And this is where I know a lot of people somebody said something on Twitter about Toumani, getting walked down at the end of the game. And I'm like, that's the MVP. Did you not see the difference? Like,
it's the best guy at this that there is.
He's getting to his spots with 2 draped all over him, hitting fadeaway, leaning, running, pull up 15-footers. And it's like, you're like, oh, that's what he does. Yeah, that's my point, dog. Like, that's what he does. Is he is an elite shot creator, shot maker. And it was, to me, the final 3 minutes felt very, 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 very reminiscent of opening night against the Timberwolves. Where Edwards just hit insanely difficult pull-ups, individually created offense with Toumani Camara draped all over him. I thought Two did an incredible job on SGA tonight. He made him work very hard. On the other side, I thought Lou Dort did about as good a job as you can do being physical with Deni Avdija, but also Deni got to the line 23 times.
Yeah, Deni didn't make a 3. He was 6 of 14 from the field. So you look at that and you go, but everything else is so gaudy. I mean, 31 points, the 19 rebounds is incredible. Now, clearly, Donovan not playing contributed to that. But for Deni to work that hard on offense to try to deal with psychopath compliment, Lou Dort, hounding him the entire time.
Ball denying him probably 70% of the game.
Just for him to get the ball was a challenge.
He had to work.
But then being able to get to the free throw line. And look, I understand that SGA gets a lot of calls, foul merchant, all that sort of stuff.
Deni was working for it tonight.
Deni was working, man. And if he doesn't get to the line that much, this game is not in doubt down the stretch.
No, I mean, that was a big part of their game plan tonight was putting that paint pressure on and making those things happen. And again, you see here 31, 19, and 10. And I thought what Haperstroh said was really on point as it pertains to Deni tonight. Most of his assists were kickouts to 3, and the Blazers finished the night 16 of 49 from 3.
Not bad.
How many open looks did Deni generate? He was phenomenal. I mean, look at that line. Deni Avdija is the 3rd player in Blazers history to record 500 points, 100 rebounds, and 100 assists over the first 20 games of the season. Look at the other names.
I heard of those guys.
It's the 2 most prolific players in the franchise's history. When you're doing that, it's like when you have a game where it's only been done by Wilt, or you have a game that's only been done by Wilt and LeBron or Magic. You know what I mean? Like you're in rare air. Look, the Blazers have not had, the Lakers or Celtics run of stars, but when you're finding yourself in quarter season chunks with Clyde Drexler and Damian Lillard, you are playing ball. Like, you are hooping out of your mind.
Well, we're getting to a point where Deni has played an entire NBA season at a certain level with the Blazers.
Yes.
Like, clearly it ramped up in 2025 when it started last season.
This calendar
year
he has been phenomenal.
But in 2025, it starts to become enough of a sample size where you're like,
this is who he is.
Okay, is this what Deni Avdija is going forward? And you hear him talk, and you see how much the three-point shooting has improved this season. The step-back 3, which feels kind of like it's a coin flip if it's going to go in when he gets it. Like, that shot goes in a lot for him now. It's a guy that you're really building a franchise around. Like, Deni is turning into a number 1, and you have that along with Dame coming back next season, and we've started to fantasize about what that looks like, and it's really, really exciting. Why don't we put Deni aside for a second, Danny, because I want to talk about Toumani Camara. The bullseye has been fixed on Two from angry Blazer fan of, look at this guy not pulling his weight. I can't believe we gave him this money. The regression is unbelievable. I put out a tweet, I think it was last game, where I just wrote, Toumani Camara is blank. And the amount of negative responses that I got to that was shocking. This is a guy who was tasked with being the person to stop the most prolific player on the opposing team. Given that Portland has the toughest strength of schedule through 20 games, he is guarding the cream of the crop every single night. This is his 3rd game guarding Shea out of 20. They played the Thunder 3 times. They get the Thunder again on New Year's Eve. Happy New Year, everybody. We get to see this team one more time. It just feels like he is getting... I'll phrase it this way. I understand Blazer fans being frustrated. I do, because
results matter.
8-12 is 8-12. However, I don't think it's fair to view Toumani like you do other players, because what he's asked to do is different than other players.
100%. And I think that's a big part of, to be honest, why I, quote unquote, came to his defense last show. the ask of him is ridiculous. And I don't mean that like, oh my God, the Blazers are out. It's because of the injuries. That's what like. I think we have this thing in our heads as people who watch basketball of like what it actually, like the load that it takes to be a plus defender in the NBA. If you look up and down the NBA, the best defenders in the world, with the exception of the guys like Victor Wembanyama, who are you're talking about an all-world freak. If you were a guy defensively who is being asked to bear that burden every single night, your offensive burden is just not that high, because the ask of you is especially for two. Two's not a guy who's guarding wings. Who does he guard more often than not? He guards primary ball handlers. And for that, he's chasing around guys that are, some of the quickest, fastest, most explosive athletes on the face of the planet. And he does it well every single night. When he's got Drew, when he's got Blake, when he's got Tease, he can cycle out. He can be a weak side guy. They can move him over. They can give him a little bit of a break. But when he's on the floor, what's the ask of him? To do that basically every minute he's on the floor. Because Jeremy's being moved to the weak side guy. Deni, because of his offensive burden, is being asked to back off, and they're trying to hide him a little bit. Like the effort that you have to expend to be that guy is crazy. And we talked about it last show. I brought the numbers from Genius IQ, the tracking data. Toumani's in the top 5 or 7 in total distance covered every single game on average. And among those guys, the only guy who spends as much time at it as a highest speed as Toumani Camara is Mikal Bridges. That's it. That's the list. And if you watch Mikal Bridges, what does he do all game long? Run and run and run. Who does he have alongside him? OG Anunoby. He's got other guys that are there. He's got Josh Hart. He's got other guys to bear the burden alongside that. And also, Mikal's a lot smaller than two.
But it's not just defensively now for Toumani, because even though you've lost a lot of guards who are defensive-minded, the narrative coming into the season was, how's this team going to score? And when Giroux's not there, with his reliability and facilitating and his scoring, now Two is being asked to shoulder that burden as well. And he had a good night tonight. He made 5 threes.
Yeah, and that's the other part of this is not only that Giroux's injury is probably the one that hurts them the most, because Two is not a guy that is looked at as a self-creator. Jeremy can, but he's more of a play-ender. We've kind of talked about that. Shaedon is a guy who can create his own shot, maybe not create for others as well. But when you're talking about this roster, when it's fully healthy, the guys that are the creators are Deni, Drew, and when he comes back, Scoot. Now, Dame is another one, but obviously he won't play the season. But those are the 3 guys that you're looking at to be creators for others. What happens when you take those guys out is now it's harder to create. Now a lot of their looks are coming off of Deni kickouts and then maybe a swing. But there's a lot more stationary, and you can't have as many active cutters because you have to have the spacing necessary for Deni to drive. Well, if you do that and Two's not knocking down shots, what happens? It sucks in. It's harder for Deni to get into the paint, which makes it incredible tonight that he gets the line 23 times. But this is what Two needs to do. He doesn't need to go 5 of 10 from 3.
It helps.
It's great. But if Two is shooting 37% from 3 on volume, taking 6 threes a night, that's what you need him to do. He is a quintessential 3-and-D guy, where what I'd like to see from him, if he is going to expand his offensive game, I'd like to see him involved more as a screener. I'd like to see him diving down. But if he's playing with Donovan, if he's playing with Rob, what do those guys do? That's where they live. And so that was what's kind of interesting, I think, about the small ball lineup tonight, is I think you did see more of that tonight. There was the dump off to Shea where he had the little zipper cut down the middle that turned into the dunk. Chris has done a really good job of working the baseline. Jeremy tried to throw one, I think, to Chris that just went off. I like the idea. The execution wasn't quite. But those are the kind of things that you're looking for. But you see how compressed it gets in there when guys aren't knocking down threes. And if you don't have that, you need to have somebody who has a little bit better creation talent. And that's where Giroux, who he doesn't need to bulldoze you. He'll just get you on his time. And all of a sudden, now you're helping over a step. And now you can just make that pass without having to be swing. It doesn't have to be as advanced, because those guys draw more eyes. They draw more attention. You can shift defenses side to side. And having that additional creator, or that lack of right now, makes it harder. So Two has to have a little more self-creation, and those things, it becomes a snowball effect.
Right.
And that's the thing that they're finding. That's the thing that they're dealing with right now.
Toumani also played 38 minutes.
Yeah.
And he spoke to the media just a little while ago. Let's hear from him. He's not there?
He's not there. Okay.
We're waiting on Deni.
Okay.
Okay. So Toumani Camara played 38 minutes. He's not there. Deni will be soon, and we're going to hear from him. Why don't we pivot there? Thank you so much.
That's
That's what we're throwing to.
There we go.
A little bit later. The All-Star campaign, dude.
Just start it. Start it.
We're there, right?
Yeah. No, I was trying to pull up his numbers, Denny's numbers before. It keeps kicking me out. Since January, just to get what his look like
the
calendar year.
Yep.
But this season now through 20 games, he's averaging 26, 7 and 6 on 48, 38, 81.
Good God.
Yeah, that's a monster. That's an unabashed monster. So, if I were to run this through a filter, you're looking at historically over the last 10 years, guys that put up those numbers. That's Jason Tatum. That's LeBron James. That's Giannis. That's Luka. It's the elite apex power wings in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Deni might be at the bottom of that list, but the list of guys that are 6'8" or taller who do this, you're looking at 5, 6, 7 guys in the league. I was talking to somebody last game, kind of where does Deni rank in the NBA right now? As you know, top 100, top 50, top 20 kind of list, and they came back with top 20, but where? Like, where does he sit in that? And I'm like, top 15. Like, everybody says somebody's a top 10 player, and then you go through 10. You
start naming them.
You land at like 14 in the top 10. And you're like, oh,
maybe not.
Okay, maybe not. But Denny's comfortably a top 20 player in the NBA. That's
comfortably.
That's what that guy is. I mean, look, 30-point triple doubles aren't the end all be all, but whose name on that list stands out? Jokic is the monster that he is. Cade is having a breakout, candidacy. Harden is what Harden is.
Well, if you were to show this to people and say which one of these doesn't look like the other, and then didn't watch the Blazers, which I'm sure is a lot of people not in Portland, I'd say Deni Avdija.
Right? And so
stands out.
You get into that part of it, and you're just like, whoa, man! Like those are, what's crazy about this to me is the efficiency. 48, 38, 81. Like what?
Put that on a banner and hang it up at Moda Center.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
I mean, well, at least 2 of the 3 times. Game 2 was
in
not great.
Portland. No one has played the Thunder better than the Blazers.
Here's the crazy thing about Deni. So I just rattled off those numbers. Do you know how many free throw attempts he's getting a game? Obviously, he just got a big bump from getting basically 2 games worth in one game.
7.
9.
9.
It's
outrageous.
That's a crazy number. That is a all NBA. Like, if I just took his name off this and said 26, 7 and 6 on 48, 38, 81, 9 free throw attempts, that kind of efficiency, you'd be like, that's an all NBA player. You would probably think on any given year that's
like
Jason,
hide the name.
Yeah, hide the name.
Show the
like,
stats.
That's Jason Tatum. Like that's what you're looking at. Like Deni right now, I believe coming into tonight, he was 17th in the NBA in scoring, so he's a top 20 scorer in the NBA. If I told you Deni was a top 20 scorer coming into the season, would you believe that?
No.
So if you're
because the bar to be in the top 20 is so high now.
The gap between a guy who averages 18 a game, and I'll use Shaedon. Like when we talk about the difference between Shaedon being a guy and Shaedon being a dude, a guy averages 18 points a game. And it's not easy to do that. But clearing that 20-point threshold is one of the most difficult things in the NBA to do. It's Andrew Wiggins. That's the guy I always say, like, is Shaedon going to be guard Andrew Wiggins, or is he going to go above that? Again, good player. It's not a shame to be, a top draft pick, all-star, NBA title winner, and like, oh my God, he's a disappointment. Like, Andrew Wiggins is a good player, but did he live up to like what he could have been? No.
Few do.
And that's the thing is, we remember the truly greats. We don't acknowledge the really goods. Like somebody said something about Michael Redd the other day. Actually,
Yeah.
I think it was producer Danny.
Quality scorer for the
trying to
Bucks.
slander Michael Redd. Like, Michael Redd was a bucket.
See, that is the younger generation not watching Michael Redd.
And it's also, let's use a current Buck, or former current Buck. Current former Buck, there you go. Chris Middleton. Middleton was an absolute monster. And just, like, people don't respect that because he wasn't the guy. Now, in Milwaukee, they do. Milwaukee, they got nothing but love for him. But the gap between the guy who averages 18, the guy who averages 22 is pretty substantial. The gap between the guy who averages 22 to 25 plus, those are like what Deni is doing right now. That's Dame's career scoring average. To put into perspective, like what that is. Dame is I believe, a top 12 scorer in NBA history with that scoring average.
Well, Deni Avdija is a top 20 scorer in the NBA right now, and that chair is full.
Oh, there we go.
Denny's in it.
All right, thanks.
Give your thoughts on the game tonight, particularly the fourth quarter, how you guys performed, and just kind of getting outright there in the fourth. What happened?
I think we did a great job today of fighting most of the game. Compete, this team is blowing out everybody by 20, so coming in and giving them a good game till the fourth quarter was a great challenge for us, and I don't know, we could have won, but I think that run in the fourth quarter, the beginning of the fourth quarter, kind of hurt us, and then we had to chase them during the fourth, and they came up with the win. But it was unfortunate, but I'm proud of us for fighting like that.
What did you see happen in that beginning of the fourth quarter, that run?
I think it happens. I saw them, we took a couple of shots, we missed them, they went the other way, and finished with an easy 2. And, it happens. Thiago took a timeout, and that's about it. Can't overthink that too much. It just happens. It's part of the game.
How well do you think you're adjusting to the challenge of facing double teams and all the face guarding that they were throwing at you?
It's not easy. But it's just something that when you come to the league, when I came to the league at first, people will leave me wide open in the corner, and working and grinding and making the right play every time, coming down the court, and transferring teams, and now coming here and really finding my groove with this amazing team, a group of guys we got, and I'm just having fun, and I'm trying to do the best I can to make the right decisions, even if I get double team or triple team. But it definitely gives you a little boost of confidence that you hurt teams, and I'm happy that I can create this passes and things for my teammates after those doubles or triple teams. So.
Were you dealing with a different level of fatigue? Do you feel it after these games when not only the double teams, but Thiago mentioned he had to put you back in sooner than he would have liked?
Yeah, but I must say that when I play, I do get fatigued because I'm trying so much and I'm doing 100% on the floor, and I feel like as a team, that's our identity. We're always doing giving 100% effort on defense, offense. We're running, we're sprinting, we're covering for each other. So I feel like that's the way we play. And I'm a little fatigued sometimes, but sometimes it's just in your head. You got to keep going. You got to keep making the right plays, and nobody cared that you're a little tired.
How do you avoid hitting a wall when you guys play like that all the time?
Well, it's only November, so I hope I'm going to take care of my body a lot, and I have a great medical staff behind the scenes that are doing a great job of taking care of me and the guys. And I just hope I'm not going to hit the wall.
You guys missed another starter tonight, obviously, with DC out.
Yeah.
Beyond just missing the talent of Drew and DC and the rest of the crew, is there a way to describe fighting without all these players, what goes into it and how it's affecting you guys right now?
I think we have a lot of key players missing, and it's very noticeable, but I'm so proud of the guys that come in and fill those roles and kind of next man's up. And I feel like everybody who comes in the game do the best he can to help the team, even in some situation he's not comfortable in. And I feel like a lot of our guys do it, and I'm so proud of them because we're in those games. We're winning some games. We given a fight to the champions of the NBA, and you can't take it for granted. It's amazing, but we're definitely missing the key guys. Hope they're gonna recover and come back soon. But I'm just gonna say I'm proud. And be honest with you, I have no complaints.
אני אחרי ההופעה היום ראיתי שיש השוואות ליוקיץ', לקייד, ובעולם של הבלייזרס לקלייד ודיין. אני יודע שאתה תמיד אומר שהכי חשוב לך הניצחון והקבוצה, אבל זה עושה לך משהו, ההשוואות האלה, וזה שרואים אותך כשחקן ברמה הזאת?
זה בהחלט מחמיא, אבל כן, זה מחמיא. תשמע, אי אפשר להתעלם מזה
There he is, Deni Avdija, future all-star of your Portland Trailblazers. Just another incredible night for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely bonkers. And I'm trying to, my monster of a search engine here is trying to spit everything out at me and doesn't like me.
You're breaking the internet with your query search?
Yeah, I'm trying to just give me my points per game and stop crunching my computer.
Well, while you're doing that, it's dinner time, for goodness sakes, Danny.
Oh.
People are out of leftovers. They don't know what to do. Blazer fans, you got to go big. I'm talking the triple bonus jack combo. That's 3 juicy beef patties, 3 slices of melty American cheese, shredded lettuce. One day I'm going to do it so you don't get that in there. One day. Pickles and Jack's secret sauce on a toasted bun plus fries and a drink, and you can order it right now on the Jack in the Box app. 3 times the beef, 3 times the flavor.
Do love that. Hey, Joe, it's another night for Rip City.
It definitely is.
Tonight.
And you know who's all about people just like this team? Dick Hanna Subaru.
Right? From your very first visit to your first drive, they're focused on making a difference for you and for our community.
That's why they say, believe in nice.
Dick Hanna Subaru. It's not just about cars, it's about people.
Time for a deep dive into a shallow topic. It's Trend BA. Shallow as it gets, baby. No diving. Here's Shaedon Sharpe. This is his TikTok showing his post-game routine. Now, this was posted. Did some internet sleuthing with with our producer Danny Vigil, and we did. Okay, when was this? We think it was after the Wednesday game, Thanksgiving Eve. Our man's drinking coffee, presumably it will say close to midnight. And I know you say these guys stay up late.
They all do.
But let me posture this. I think it was just a Tim Hortons cup. I know it's Tim Hortons. Shaedon Sharpe is Canadian. They have another Thanksgiving in Canada. That's in October.
There you go.
So I don't think he's necessarily going to bed early so he can wake up and deep fry a turkey.
Well, he also had the hashtag Black Ops 7. He might be getting a little kickback from old Call of Duty on that too.
Did we just give him?
Yeah, we might have gotten a little.
Do we get got right there?
Yeah, probably a little bit. It's the casual marketing of like, hey, by the way.
Isn't anyone doing anything out of the goodness of their heart anymore? As I just read Jack in the Box commercials.
100%. Jack in the Box and Dick Hanna Subaru. Thank
Both
you.
Both great companies.
Wonderful
We love
companies.
you.
But look, these guys stay up dumb late. They all do. Their schedule is vastly different from ours.
What is dumb late?
Most of those guys stay up till probably 3 or 4 in the morning.
My goodness.
Especially the younger guys. Now some of the older guys might get to bed a little bit earlier, but
now we're talking.
But
what time does Jrue Holiday go to bed?
Probably a little bit earlier, but
a reasonable time.
They're probably 1:32.
Yeah.
But like here's the thing: is you have to remember their schedules are just they're set up to perform at 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
So
whereas most humans are plummeting at 7 p.m. at night, they have to peak at 7 p.m.
These guys will go to bed. Let's just stay on average. Let's say 2:30, right? So staying up till 4, staying up a little bit late. So you get up around 9:30, 10 o'clock. You go in, like, let's say on a practice day. You go into the PF at 10:30 or so. You get your treatment. You do whatever you need to do to kind of go through whatever. They've got the cafeteria in there now. You go and get your pre-practice meal or whatever it is you're kind of working on. You go get a lift in before practice. You go to practice at noon. You do media, at 1:30 or so. You get done with that. And then on your regular game day, you get up probably around 11 o'clock. You go through whatever you normally go through. You go through your home treatment. You go and get your pre-game meal, whatever it is. You start your carb load or whatever. Get to the arena about 4:30, 5 o'clock. You start going through, you get there at 4. If you're one of the two-way guys, you're going to go through your get-ready game and get warmed up and all those things. And these guys are creatures of habit, man. That's why some of these game times being kind of thrown all over the place or playing 3 games in 5 days, like it throws you off. We were talking about, Calabro said, hey, we're leaving for Toronto tomorrow. Number one, you don't want to spend more time in Toronto in December than you have to. It's usually miserable, very cold and snowy. But beyond...
It's Christmas time. It's romantic.
Look, man, perfect one. Anthony Simons hates the cold. I mean, there's a bunch of pictures.
Florida dude.
Yeah, that Bruce Ely, the longtime Blazers photographer, got of Ant on the road in Toronto and Boston in the world's thickest parka. It's not a fun place. It's not Miami. It's not Los Angeles. It's not Texas. In December, so it's not exactly a great time. Beyond that, it's one of those things where getting through Toronto, you have to go through customs. So it can be a kind of long, drawn
It's a whole
out.
other country.
Yeah, it's a drawn out process, and yes, they are flying chartered and private, but it's a bit of a pain. So getting there, staying up there, being there any longer than you have to, not usually fun, and it's just less time spent traveling or sitting around another city, so you can keep your sleep pattern at least a little bit more normal. You can there tomorrow, you go fly out there, and then they start what is going to be an absolutely gargantuanly stupid road trip through the Eastern Conference.
It's going to be very challenging. The weather tomorrow in Toronto is 31 degrees Fahrenheit for the high in beautiful,
as I said,
Toronto.
Going to Toronto in the beginning of December, not exactly the best.
Ontario. The schedule for this team has been crazy, but
it's about to get worse.
It's that way for everybody, and not from a strength of schedule perspective in terms of the number of games in the condensed period of time, and so much of that is the NBA Cup. It does get a little bit easier in terms of having more time between games after this week. But Portland had a rarity. They had 3 days off between the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and today, and so that allowed them to do a thing that probably most people think they do quite often during the season.
And they haven't at all.
Which is practice. They had their first practice, there it is, over the break, over the holiday.
Yeah, and the reason why is that they've had opportunities to have them over the last couple of weeks.
Sure, there's been a few stretches of a couple days off here and there.
In simple walkthroughs, but they're so beat up and so shorthanded that they could not have somebody get hurt in practice. They just could not do it. So when the Blazers actually practice, they are mandated by the league to have media availability. But if you have just video sessions or walkthroughs, which is what they've been doing, then they don't have to do those. So
they don't have to have media availability when
correct.
there's not a formal practice.
Correct. But when they have practice, that's when or a shoot around. But if you have walkthrough or video sessions, which I'm not going to begrudge them. They probably had a light practice where they didn't go, full fives or something like that. But that's it. Talking to Chauncey over the last couple of years, he played for Larry Brown. Larry Brown used to go, we're running 2-a-days.
Yeah.
The practices are 4 hours long, and they're
noted chill guy, Larry
Brown.
Yeah,
very chill, was very laid back, did not want to practice, and so it's a very different NBA.
Yeah.
So the opportunities there, few and far between for a beat up team and a battle team, but also with the pace that they're playing at, or they were playing at.
Well, that's the thing, dude. The pace that Chauncey was playing at with the 04 Pistons is a hell of a lot different than what it looks like today.
Yeah, remember those San Antonio Spurs games in the finals, it was first to 80, 75, Now, very physical games, but it's a different kind of physical exertion.
Right.
Coming back to Toumani Camara, I think I mentioned this last show, Two's currently playing at 225 pounds. He was up to, I believe, 242 last year. And I asked him
off-season muscle stuff.
Well, I asked him, before last game, how you doing, man? I'm like, you look a little lean. Kind of flexed for me. He's like, yeah, I'm like, what are you at right now? He's like 225. I was like, bud, that's like rookie weight. Like that was what he weighed at the end of his rookie season, kind of a deal. I think he was right around like 220, 222, something like that. He got a lot bigger last year, and you can tell he's lean. And he's like, yeah, no, I need to eat. Like I need to find a way. I didn't ask him. I was like, we're kind of joking in the media room. Like, hopefully Two didn't go Dame here and go with the vegan diet. Remember when Dame dabbled with the vegan, lost like 15 pounds in 6 weeks? It was like, yeah, that's the thing is like, especially for a guy like Toumani who plays at that pace, who plays with that physicality. He told me, I always lose weight during the season, but like, it's hard, man. Like if you're running and exerting this much energy, like you've got to take in, 4,000-5,000 calories. That's hard to do when you're on the road and flying around and going through things and going and playing a game and flip. Like it's that was done on Michael Phelps when he was in Beijing.
Oh yeah,
the calories that he ate. It was like 18,000 calories.
Or like watching The Rock and all the weird stuff. Like he's 40 pancakes for breakfast.
It's definitely not the anabolic steroids.
It's
definitely
just
not
chocolate chip pancakes, Danny.
No, it's making
protein
sure
powder,
carb load and protein. It's that's how you get that big. It's definitely not a needle and some sort of pharmaceutical aid.
Moving right along. Shaedon Sharpe's in a kind of a weird spot right now.
Sit him or play him. I understand they need the bodies. That's why he's playing and he's buying minutes, but he clearly is not okay. He's playing hurt, not injured.
Yeah.
That's where he's at, and he's doing it because they're so shorthanded. I'm not mad at the coaching staff. I understand why, but it's like he is not a guy that does well with the way he's having to manage things.
Sure. because there's a lot of nuance to it as opposed to him just going full bore. And yeah, I mean, I think this is an interesting discussion because he plays 22 minutes tonight, but he was impactful for 4 or 5 of them, and he's standing in the corner, and I get it. Sure, maybe you can use him as a decoy, but this is the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is a very savvy franchise. They know the state that Shaedon Sharpe is in.
They're incredibly active in passing lanes. They're very disruptive. Right. To be honest, the Thunder might have the best hands team in the entire NBA. They dig down. They get so many. How many times tonight did you see somebody drive and somebody dig down and help and get a deflection, get a tip, knock the ball away?
And Shea hit the deck like 3 times in the first half, and I'm like, what? This is not productive for the Blazers' future, what I'm seeing right now.
But that's, I mean, we talked about this before Shea came back last game. They're missing 6 guards. And you can say, well, they've got Shea back. They don't. They don't. Like, he's there, and he's and this is not a shot at Shea.
None of this is a shot at
all.
Shea.
Like,
guys get hurt. He's hurt.
He's gutting it out.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point where, like, man, should he be out there?
I was hoping that 3 days, maybe you see a demonstrative difference than what you saw. It's just not there right now.
No, and that's the problem.
It looks a lot different.
It's lower body injuries. You know, when you're dealing with calves, hamstrings, quads, man, you need time off. And look, if they get Tease or Drew or, you know, somebody back here, Scoot, maybe in a couple of weeks, like right now you're basically fighting to get through Christmas. That's what you're trying to do. And like you mentioned, the schedule does lighten up a little bit in December. They're not playing basically every other day. There's some breaks in the NBA Cup week. There's only, 2 games that week?
There's a 2-week stretch where you're playing 4 games, and you have 3 games in between each.
Yeah.
So, like, there's an opportunity to, and I understand what they're trying to do. We've talked about it a lot since these injuries started. We're trying to tread water until you get guys back. The schedule softens up a little bit, and that's coming. I don't know what the guys coming back, but the schedule will soften up a little bit. So, getting opportunities to have a chance to win a game. You get a few of those like we saw on the most recent road trip, and you're 8-12 through 20. And I think most Blazer fans would take that going into the season.
Water. Like,
that's exactly right.
If they were healthy on their 8-12, we would look at this team a lot differently, and rightfully so. If they were you know, as healthy as you can be, kind of a deal. Sans Dame, obviously. Let's say you had a few knocks here or there. Like, let's say Shea had a knee contusion, missed 3 games. Drew had a rolled ankle and missed 5 games.
Normal Nixon.
Yeah, the stuff that pops up in an 2-game series. Not Scoot tearing his hamstring, you know, not Tease breaking his thumb, not, you know, Blake Wesley breaking his foot. Like, and shout out Blake, he's getting off the scooter and progressing well, thankfully.
That's great.
I talked to him last game. His spirits are still up. He's able to drive now because it's his right foot. So he's able. I asked him, I'm like, are you having to sleep with the boot on? He's like, no, thank God.
For fans that didn't watch the last game, they interviewed him during the game. What a delightful young man.
I'm telling you, man.
Wonderful
you
personality.
Heard me talk about him off air.
He's great.
Just an unbelievable kid. I love him so much. I was able to get this mild pivot.
You did.
The search engine did get it for Deni Avdija.
What did we find?
Since the beginning of the calendar year, is averaging 22, 7, and 4.
Yeah.
Since January 2nd, that's when they had a game. He's doing this shooting 49% from the field, 38% from 3, and has a free throw percentage at 79% with a true shooting percentage of 62. That's bonkers.
So is Deni going to be the hipster choice for an all-star? And I mean that complimentary because they're 8-12 through 20 games. Let's say they do that again, and they're 16-24. You got to have a pretty good season if your team is 16-24 in the Western Conference to make an all-star team. I'm not saying that he shouldn't. I'm saying that it leaves you an uphill battle.
You got to be probably right around 500, that 19-20 wins. It also depends on where they fall in the West. And right now, looking at the West, I don't see a team that's going to push up ahead of them real easily. Like, you look at who's behind them.
Yeah.
And it's not – and honestly, the Blazers, barring any more injuries, they almost can't fall out of the play-in.
Can we, Vigil, when you get a second, can you put the standings up? Because there really is – even though the games is only a couple in the standings, like the gap between sort of the floor of the Blazers and the teams below them in the Western Conference is, I think, what you're referring to. You don't really see the Kings getting it together and winning a bunch of games. So here's how it is right now. Utah, I don't know what's going on in Salt Lake, but they're way more competitive than I think most people thought they would be. They've fallen off a little bit.
But they also have Walker Kessler out for the season.
That's right.
They do have Larry Markkinen. I want to hit that all-star point for you real quick. We're kind of going through this.
Yeah.
So remember, it's a different all-star setup.
Yes.
It's the 8 international
Explain that
spots.
to folks.
So the NBA is trying to do this because they don't know what they're doing yet. You can kind of see
They haven't figured out an all-star game yet.
Yeah, right. So I bring up Lauri Markkanen because he's one of the guys that could be the contender, kind of for those all-star
Jazz
spots,
superstar, right.
from Finland, the finisher. Great nickname, by the way.
Wow, that is good.
But let's run down the international side of this.
Sure.
Wemby, Jokic,
Shea,
Luka, SGA. Those 4 are spoken for, right? And you start kind of working your way down the list, and you're like, okay, so how many more spots are there in there? Alperen Şengün, he's been phenomenal this year. That's 5.
He feels like a lock with how good Houston's playing as well.
So now there's 3 spots left, and there's I can't remember who the other guy we were debating, like probably. So now you're dealing with kind of 2 spots. And if I just kind of throwing them out there, I would probably say Lowry and Deni. That's where I would go. But does somebody get dinged up? Does somebody, miss an all-star game and he gets the nod? Deni, I wouldn't say is firmly an all-star because of how this is setting up and how they're going to qualify guys or which ones are international, which ones aren't. Are the Nuggets playing so well that they go, we have to send 2. We have to send 2 all-stars from Denver.
Well, so Murray goes.
Murray's Canadian, so he could take up one of those. So it gets a little dicey in that regard. But if Deni is putting up 27, 7, and 6 on 48, 38, 80 splits on a team that's right around 500, and his ask and his workload is this, I don't understand how you could keep him off, especially if you're deciding between him or Lowry, because the Jazz are going to be very likely be further down.
Even though Lowry is on a team that's an island of misfit toys in Utah, I do think nationally, the casual fan, he's
been there.
He's more of a household name. He's been an all-star before.
Yes, and the other guy who you could possibly throw in there, but the team is so bad, is Indiana. Pascal Siakam. Could Siakam find his way into that?
How many? I mean, Indiana is 4-16.
Yeah, they're really bad. But he's, again, a guy who's been there before. He's been stamped. I mean, that's something much like the MVP or Defensive Player of the Year or any of the yearly awards, the narrative in being there before matters. Cracking an all-star team your first time is like one of the harder things to do.
Ask CJ McCollum.
He's a guy who's notoriously a hot starter, and then late December into January, we typically started to come back to earth a little bit, and so would the Blazers record.
Well, we had that bit one season when we were doing the old show where we had a CJ stock watch.
And it was just up here for the first 2 months of the season, and then it
kind of cratered, and he got hurt. And
so for Deni, stay healthy, continue to look. He doesn't need to average 30, 20, and 10.
It'll help.
If he did, great. But having a few of these performances, especially on bigger stages against good teams, here's the thing for Deni. If he keeps producing like this, and they, when they start playing teams that are lesser, because that's the thing is they've played the best teams in the league. The Thunder now 3 times. They've played the Lakers a handful of times. They've played good teams throughout the beginning of the season. When they start getting into the meat of their schedule, and you do have some Utahs, some New Orleans, some Charlottes, there's some teams that pop. Dallas, unfortunately, a game they dropped. When you get more of those, stack a few wins and have some big performances. Everybody wants you to show up when the lights are bright, and Deni in his press conference talking about, we've competed really well against this OKC team. It feels good, but yeah, we lost. It's frustrating, but I think he has the right mentality and the right mindset to where he has these performances against teams that aren't 19-1. Then they turn into wins, and all of a sudden you're looking like, man, Deni won them the game that night. And when you get the idea in your head of like, oh, that guy's winning them games,
right,
that's when the groundswell kind of gets behind you, is when you're quote-unquote winning games.
Winning is the key to unlock all of this.
At least enough.
Sure.
Unless the only guy in modern NBA history who has had stats that are just bonkers, that was just on a completely dog water team that didn't make the All-Star game, it's Bradley Beal. That's it. And his numbers were crazy, but his team was so bad. It was like...
And he's in D.C. That helps, too.
Yeah.
You're in a big market, a lot of eyes on you.
But even then, they were like, you can't go to the All-Star game, man. Sorry. And that's the biggest stat snub in the modern NBA.
Danny, it is dinner time.
Oh, it is.
Getting hungry. I see this beautiful...
little rumbly in my tumbly.
Jack in the Box cup here. And I just want to make
delicious.
sure that people have some ideas about what to serve their family.
Thanksgiving leftovers don't matter anymore, Joe.
You should throw them away.
You should.
You know that buzzer beater feeling?
Not tonight.
That's what the new classics, no, not tonight, Smash Jack is. A juicy smash patty, melty American cheese, lettuce, grilled onions, pickles, and Jack's boss sauce, all stacked on a soft brioche bun. For the ultimate MVP meal, it's rated the best burger in fast food by me, Joe Simons, and you can order it now in the Jack in the Box app. Grab one and go big.
You do love to see it, Joe. You got to go big. You can feel the energy after that game, Joe.
This city really cares, and the same goes for Dick Hanna Subaru. They care about people in the community, not just cars.
Exactly. From that first visit to your first drive, they're there every step of the way.
Dick Hanna Subaru making a difference and proving they believe in nice.
Oh.
Now, you may be familiar with this at home. Some of you may not be. The Oklahoma City Thunder used to play in Seattle.
Oh, they did.
They were the Supersonics of Seattle, and it got me thinking.
Dangerous.
I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because we'll quickly run out of time. What do you think is more likely to happen? First,
Go.
Portland gets a Major League Baseball team or Seattle gets an NBA team?
Ooh.
Thank you.
You know,
I'll hang up and listen.
With where things were going 6 months ago, 10 months ago, like I want people to know this. Like Seattle and Vegas were getting teams. It was the momentum.
As of when?
I mean, it was pretty much, I would say, a year ago, in like this
around
in
this
December.
time.
Yeah, it was. Everybody was talking about this is done. Like this is where this is headed. Like the ownership groups were pretty well known. LeBron James and Fenway Sports Group, by the way, the Boston Celtics ownership group had kind of divested and stopped spending money in Boston. They were long rumored to be the ownership group that was going to start the team in Las Vegas. There was two competing groups. One currently owns the Kraken. Lewicki and his group were trying to finalize a deal with to bring the Sonics back to Seattle, and the momentum was very much there. But I think with where the economy was, where the CBA was, and where ownership was looking at this may be the last like big TV deal we can truly count on. Even though this thing's going to go for another 8 years.
After this,
then
it's all going to be on TikTok, and we're not going to get any money for it.
We don't know what this looks like,
Sure.
and so the buy-in to the league was okay. We're going to ask for $6 billion each, just for the expansion fee.
Wait, what?
Yes,
That's too much money.
and that was kind of like
Who's going to pay that?
Well, there was groups that were out there that were interested in doing it, and now just kind of where things sit. And I know a lot of people believe baseball at Portland is a unicorn. It's not happening. I've talked to people that are involved with that group, and they believe that there's actual momentum, and it sounds like the Eastern team that's going to get it is very likely going to be Nashville, and in the West it's down to Utah and Portland. Like, that's what it sounds like it's going to be. So, yeah, give it the stare. There you go. Just a little off.
Look, I've lived in this city for a long time. This started in the year 2000 when the Expos left Montreal.
Yep.
Portland has been used as a leverage city for baseball for a quarter century. Those drawings are so pretty of that site.
Oh, my God.
By the bridges, the Ross Island and the Tillicum. That would be a gorgeous,
A little 30,000
Oh.
seat stadium where you see Mount Hood
You
in
take
the
the
background.
family, you have an affordable hot dog.
You can roll on out there in your kayak or your boat and spot up in a little splash
I know
zone.
they got the jock tax that they got going on. So that is the first tangible sign
Look at that.
something is it's a beautiful picture. I don't know really anybody who has lived here for a long time who isn't a hardened skeptic when it comes to Major League Baseball in Portland. And we all want to be proven wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I just have been hearing this for over half of my life.
Where's the optimism here in Joe? Like what,
Danny, this is such a hot button
I need
issue.
you to be Charlie Brown here. I need you to line up and swing.
No, dude.
Let Lucy pull the ball.
Major League Baseball to Portland is such a and I think that's what you're seeing here more than anything else.
Oh, for
is
sure.
Cynical people who've lived in Portland.
Oh, no, you could just say cynical Portland.
Because
I think that's a Portland mentality.
Because you know what's frustrating about it is because if they get a team, everyone in the city will be a conquering hero. The governor, everyone at the state legislature, the Diamond Project, everyone will be really excited and it'll be this great moment. But if they don't get it, then they have so many things that they can use as scapegoats in this city. And
Sure.
that's what bugs me. Whether that's true or not, we all know what the narrative is, please. We all know what the narrative is going to be around this.
There's a few
Oh,
things.
we don't have too many, there's not enough hotels and the transit system. And, oh, look at all these homeless people everywhere.
The infrastructure's a problem.
The infrastructure is a problem, which is why this still feels like a pipe dream because we're looking at pretty pictures. And again, I hope I'm wrong, but remember when they trotted out Russell Wilson as part of this whole thing? What's that guy's involvement been?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe not the best guy to put forward in that regard, but
Probably not. And again, I say this, and the caveat is I hope I'm wrong. I would love to come on here in a couple years and say, I was wrong. I can't wait for the Portland Expos to start playing baseball.
hey, come on, the Portland Beavers.
You think Duck fans would let that happen?
I don't care about Duck fans.
I don't either.
I said it.
But they're in charge. They're gonna yank us off the air. By the way, if you're watching on K2 right now and you're like,
Who are these guys?
where are my funny videos? Where's Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Alfonso Ribeiro will be with you shortly. We have
There you
a few
go.
more minutes. You have an NBA basketball team in your city. They're called the Trailblazers. They played tonight. They lost, but they're pretty good. They're pretty
fine.
good. And you know what, Danny? Most of the time, people watch this show with the sound on. Everyone
do.
hearing us right now is doing that. We really appreciate that. But there are many folks watching this right now from across a bar, and they can't hear us. And this message is for them.
Oh, okay.
Your mute message by Deni Marang.
There we go. You ready for it? Here you go. I'll give it to you right here. Just go ahead and terrify you just a little bit. Go ahead and come in on that one. You have 3 shopping weekends before Christmas.
I love the B4.
Well, my handwriting. I had to
no,
try
way
to
to use great use of space.
Right? Yeah, I just had to do that. Yeah, it's terrifying. I looked at the schedule and I'm sitting there going, "Oh, great! I'm going to Army Navy for
Hold that thing back up for
You
a
wanna go?
second.
Yeah?
I want to make sure these people see it.
There you go.
Look at that.
Frame it up for you.
Just stick that in all the windows of Portland.
So, yeah, no, I'm terrified because I'm going to be gone for basically a week on the other side of the country.
That's right.
And that's going to eat up one of my shopping weekends. And I'm like, guess I'm going shopping in Baltimore.
They're precious, but what a lead into the 2 games that have been added to the schedule for your
Indeed.
Blazers. So because the Blazers did not make the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup, they will be playing next Thursday and next Sunday. These are new added games. One is against the Pelicans.
Hey,
Hooray.
that's good. We like that.
And the other one's against the Warriors, who
which the Blazers have played really well.
own. So
Yeah.
that's actually exciting. But that's what we talked about earlier in terms of getting more space in between games. The game's coming up. Again, you hear East Coast road trip, you go, yum, yum, yum,
Yeah.
yum, yum.
Not
Let's
this
stack
one.
some wins. Not this one. So you start in Toronto.
And they're playing really well.
If you haven't been paying attention-
they have probably been the second best story in the NBA this
They're
year.
number 3 in the East. They're 14-7. They've lost a couple in a row, so you're getting them angry. And then you go to Cleveland, who is on a little bit of a skid themselves, but they
And
are
Jared Allen will very likely be out.
12-9.
So, and then you play the best team in the East.
The
Detroit
best team
Pistons.
in the Eastern Conference, who have lost a couple, but still, they're 16-4. They're the best team in the NBA who doesn't play in the Western Conference.
Hey, Danny, can you roll that up real quick? Because I want to highlight something here. Look at that, December 2nd, okay? Now December 3rd, so you're on a back-to-back Toronto-Cleveland. Then you get a day off, and then you go to Detroit, and then you get a day off, and you go to Memphis, and then finally
That's when things normalize.
you get a little bit of rest. But remember, they're on the road. So now because there's a big enough gap, they're going to come home and then fly back out because it's 3 days in between, which is going to be good for them. But it's another,
Yeah, it's a 5-game road trip.
yeah. And so you're coming home and chilling for a little bit and getting a little bit of rest. But you're flying back from the middle of the country again, and then flying back across the country to Memphis, and it's like, oof. And again, you're playing good teams with the exception of Memphis.
And that's the thing. So you kind of look at it broadly and say, okay, if the Blazers can go 2-3 on this trip, you figure
You're
one of
doing
them's in New
great.
Orleans, and then if you can just get one of these first 4, find a way to get one of those games against Toronto or Cleveland.
If you get one of those games against those Eastern Conference teams, obviously the Grizzlies and Pels, both Western Conference.
Right.
If you can get one, great, because if you grab one of those, you have a chance to beat both Memphis and New Orleans, and it could turn into a 3-2 trip.
Exactly. And
This
then
is
it
what we talked
snowballs
about
into
the
something
last
fun.
East game trip where
That's right.
they go 1-4, and in reality, they very much should have gone 3-2, and they had a very real chance of going 4-1.
Yeah, they lost in a buzzer beater in
2.
Orlando. Oh, God, that's right, Chicago. Oh, what a road trip that was.
Yeah.
And then they lose to Dallas, a team you think you're going to beat going into it. But that's what makes this start of the season so tricky, because if you don't have a good road trip, then the record looks pretty hairy because if you go 1-4, say, then you're 9-16,
And it looks
that feels a lot different than what your season actually.
But if you go 2-3 and you're 10-15, it's like
Precisely.
when you see the two
Right.
whole numbers, it's like, oh, that looks a little bit better. But if you're 11-14 or 12-13,
Sure.
like, all of a sudden you're still right there in the mix of things.
That's what's so important about when you have a team in this state that's dealing with so many injuries. You can't take any game for granted. I'm not saying that they did, but that initial road trip, you go into it, you're feeling great. You're 5-3 going into that road trip, and you're like, we're going to get 3 of these at least. We're going to be top 5 seed in the West coming, and then you come back and you're like, oh, there's still a while to go, and the injuries starting
When we get back to
mount.
All-Star, when we get to All-Star break and we look back at the beginning of the season, the first, a little more than half, and we go, okay, where are they at? Where did things shake out? That, I think, is a road trip. That 1-4 road trip is one we're going to look at, both the All-Star break and then when we get closer to playoff seeding and where they're at in the play-in. If you go 3-2 in that trip, are you out of the play-in?
Sure.
Kind of one of those things. And you're like, probably not, but those are the what-if games.
Of course. And now that we enter the second quarter of the season, you go 8-12 in the first quarter. So you say, you can bail the water out, maybe go 10-10, 18-22. Like, now you're talking about something.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about a team that's going to be top 10 in the conference.
Right
and
around
actually,
500.
Right. Feel good. You're going to be in January at that point, heading towards the All-Star break. And if that's what you're doing in this quarter, probably Deni's an All-Star at that point.
I would agree. And you know what else? They'd be really close to winning 40 games, Joe.
As predicted by Daniel J. Marang.
Oh, yeah. P, but whatever.
We really enjoy you being here. Thank you so much. It's been a fun night. Another night in Rip
There you
City.
go.
I
Another
thought it
night.
was a
There you
fun
go.
night.
It was fun.
There he is. It's all pancakes. You too
all
can look
coming up
like Dwayne
pancakes.
The Rock Johnson if you eat 12 pancakes
Yeah.
with your eyebrow cocked. What a goof. Have you seen that Smashing Machine thing?
Not yet.
You into it?
Probably not.
That's King of Culture, Deni Marang.
Look up
I'm Joe
on
Simons.
Letterboxd.
Thank you. No, don't. We love you all so much.
Bye.